The Swiss Peace Summit is all set to take place later this month, and I spoke with the former American National Security Advisor John Bolton about the significance of this summit in a freewheeling chat. The question obviously is this: can there be a peace summit for the Ukraine war without even an involvement of the Russians? Listen to what John Bolton had to say. Mr. Bolton, thank you very much indeed, sir, for joining us here on WION. And let me actually start off with this question that a lot of people have been pondering about. Now, there is going to be a Ukraine peace summit that will be held in Switzerland later this month. But what is interesting is that Russia is not going to be a part of it. But the United States, of course, would be. What sense does it make to take part in a peace summit where one of the actors in this war, the Russians who invaded into Ukraine, are not even taking part?
Well, it doesn't make any sense, and I don't expect any real movement. I don't expect any new proposals. In fact, we saw President Zelensky of Ukraine this past weekend in Singapore claim that China, and I think he's probably right, but claim that China is actively working to make sure that that no progress is made in Lausanne. It doesn't surprised me that China's doing that. I don't know why they think it's worth the effort. It's pretty clear that the differences that remain between Russia and Ukraine are not going to be bridged in this kind of peace conference.
Now, at the start of this conflict, before this conflict started, the Russians and the Chinese, of course, assigned a no-limits agreement. And ever since this war broke out, the United States has been trying to impose sanctions on Russia. It's been trying to dissuade China from helping Russia out. Now, the Chinese at least have said that they're not sending any weapons to the Russian side. But the fact is there are components that seem to be manufactured within China that have been found in the Russian weapons. How does the United States look at the role that China has played, perhaps not an active one, but backing the Chinese, letting the Chinese electronics be made available to the Russians? How do the Americans perceive that?
Well, I think the U.S. government is not concerned enough about what's happening because China's support manifests itself in a lot of different ways, including using China's opaque financial system to help launder sanctioned Russian money out into international markets, substantially increasing Chinese purchases of Russian oil and gas, and doing a lot of other things to facilitate the Russian war effort. I think it's part of what has emerged in the past year as a new axis between Beijing and Moscow. It reminds us of the Sino-Soviet alliance during the Cold War, except this time China is very much the dominant partner and Russia's clearly the junior partner. But I think you can see the assistance North Korea has provided Russia, selling artillery and ammunition. North Korea obviously being one of the outriders of this new axis, along with Iran and Syria, Belarus, and other countries. So it's a very disturbing prospect, and really in many respects it's no longer a European war. With Chinese involvement, it has global implications.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.